Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is lecture number 8. The name of the paper is Criticism 1. The topic is Aristotle's theory of art. We are studying poetics. So, in poetics, the first topic is Aristotle's theory of art. This lecture is specifically for the students of BS English 5th semester GDC Pubby, and also for the students of those colleges which are affiliated with Abdul Wali Khan University. Right at the beginning, let me explain in brief the theory of art as was delivered by Plato and the theory of art as is delivered by Aristotle. When we say theory of art, this can also be called theory of imitation or theory of mimesis, because Plato said that art is mimesis, art is imitation, and he used this word imitation in derogative terms, in disrespectful terms, and it was the kind of imitation was used in the sense that it is not good. And he said that the poet imitates an imitation, and he photocopies a photocopy, and therefore whatever he says is twice removed from reality. This was his idea of art or mimesis. Aristotle gives it new meaning, and he talks about the form and the matter, as we have already discussed to some extent. Aristotle says that form actually tries to convert the matter or the body into perfect shape, but this body or this matter creates hurdles and it resists. As a result, in some cases, form is successful, and in other cases, it isn't. So, what the poet imitates is not that imitation, but the poet actually imitates the work of form, and form is actually equivalent to ideal. Form tries to convert the thing or the body into something ideal, and the writer imitates the form. What would the form make out of the matter? This is what the writer does. So, form is equivalent to the artist, and it is the form that is imitated by the artist, not the copy of a copy. This is the basic idea, and this basic idea is there in every paragraph which we will now study. But this should be remembered that according to Plato, all art is mimesis or imitation, to which Aristotle agrees that yes, it is mimesis or imitation, but Plato used it in the negative sense, telling us that the poet imitates something which has already been imitated, and as a result, whatever he says is a lie because he is talking about the imitation of imitation. Aristotle believes that artists don't imitate um, the copy of a copy, the artists imitate the form, which tries to make or convert the matter into something ideal. And that is what is imitated. And therefore, artist is a kind of creator because he creates things. What would form have converted the matter into? This is done by the artist, and what would the form have converted the matter into is a creation. So, after having learned this basic idea, we will now go step by step into this. This is the first topic which Aristotle discusses in his Poetics, and this is called the theory of art, also the theory of imitation or mimesis. And he first of all defines art as is his habit, uh, and he tells us, just like Plato, that art is mimesis, art is imitation, and the word mimesis is taken from Plato. So, in this regard, he is indebted to Plato for the word mimesis, but mimesis was used by Plato in negative terms, while he is using it in the sense of creation, which we will explain now. Therefore, we say that he gives it new meaning, and mimesis for him is not that mimesis um, of Plato. The mimesis of Plato is different, and this is what we are going to prove. There then follows a comparison between Plato and Aristotle. Plato used mimesis in a narrow sense, in a negative sense, and he uh, said that it is a servile copy, servile in the sense that it is the photocopy of a photocopy. Both copies are imperfect. So he defined it like this, that art is an imperfect copy of an imperfect copy. Already an imperfect copy is given to us, and the poet is copying that imperfect copy, hence twice removed from reality, and so it is false. This is what Plato said. So, therefore, according to him, artist is a slavish copyist. Now, you can see that this is not a respectful term. He is not talking in respectful terms about the poet. Aristotle differs with this idea that the artist is a slavish copyist. He doesn't believe so, and he thinks that he is not a copyist, and he is not a copyist at least of the imperfect copy. He is not copying the copy. Then he defines art like this, which will need explanation, and we will explain it later in these paragraphs. He tells us that art, this is now Aristotle, that art is an imitation. So the word is the same, mimesis, but art is not the imitation of what is or what has been. What is present. The facts which are given to us normally by scientists. What has been, what has passed, these are given to us by historians. So the artist is neither a scientist nor is he a historian, but he talks about what might be or what ought to be. These are very important words and you should memorize them. What ought to be and might be means, let's say, for example, form wants to convert the matter into ideal, but he cannot because matter resists. To some extent, the form may be successful, but not completely. But if it had completely succeeded, what would have it converted the matter into? This is something which the artist imitates. What would the form have converted the matter into is something which is creative. This is what he means by what ought to be and might be. So, what ought to be and might be is not a copying, it is a kind of creation. The artist is a creator, and whatever he creates is the imaginative reconstruction of life. He reconstructs life, he constructs life again, but this reconstruction is imaginative, and this reconstruction is of what might be and ought to be, which is the imitation of the form, and even better than the form, because the form could not convert it into the ideal, but the poet does. The poet, according to him, whatever the form would have converted the matter into, this is what he creates. So it's a creation. As far as the historians concerned, they talk about what has been, and of course these are facts. So he deals in with facts. Scientists also deals with facts, but he talks about what is the present, the now. and he deals with facts too. But the artist is more philosophical than historian. He has high seriousness and truth. These two, three, four words, they were used actually by Matthew Arnold, but the basic idea comes from Aristotle, that the truth which the artist tells us has high seriousness, and whatever he says is very truthful, but that truth is different from the historical truth or from the scientific truth. This is the ideal form of truth which he imitates, and this is the truth which is universalized ideal. So the artists imitate the universalized ideal, which is what might be or ought to be. Universalized ideal means that something which is ideal, the best, and it is the best throughout the universe, therefore universalized. So now you can see that in these paragraphs we compared the idea of Plato and the idea of Aristotle. थोड़ा सा उर्दू में सुन लें, आपकी तसल्ली नहीं होती जब तक आप उर्दू में ना सुने. अब थोड़ा बहुत इस उर्दू से आपको आज़ादी मिलनी चाहिए. दिस इज़ 5th semester and you should continue अंडरस्टैंडिंग ओनली इन इंग्लिश. लेकिन चलें कर लेते हैं, अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी ज़रूरी है. इस पैराग्राफ में हमने ये बात पढ़ी कि ये पहला टॉपिक है कि वो थ्योरी ऑफ आर्ट, जिसको थ्योरी ऑफ इमिटेशन भी कहते हैं, मिमीसिस, ये इसकी वजाहत करता है. वो आर्ट को डिफाइन करता है, मिमीसिस एंड इमिटेशन. लेकिन ये इमिटेशन लफ्ज़ तो उसी से लिया है, प्लेटो से, लेकिन इसको एक नई मीनिंग इसने दी है और नई मीनिंग की वजाहत मैंने कर दी है और अभी इसको कंपेयर करके इसकी वजाहत करते हैं. प्लेटो ने इसको नैरो सेंस में लिया या नेगेटिव सेंस में लिया और ये एक सर्वाइल कॉपी का जिक्र किया और इसने कहा कि आर्ट इम्परफेक्ट कॉपी की इम्परफेक्ट कॉपी है, लिहाजा रियलिटी से डबल रिमूव्ड है, तो ये झूठ हुआ. अरिस्टोटल डिफर करता है कि स्लेविश कॉपी नहीं है और आर्टिस्ट कॉपीइस्ट भी नहीं है. आर्ट इज एन, और उसने कहा कि आर्ट इमिटेशन है of not what is or has been, what is साइंसदान करता है, what has been historian करता है. आर्टिस्ट कहता है what ought to be and might be, क्या होना चाहिए, ये वो करता है, और क्या होना चाहिए किसी ने देखा नहीं है, ये पोर्ट ने देखा है. जब पोर्ट ने देखा है और लिखता है तो वो क्रिएट करता है. और इसने इसको ये भी कहा कि ये ख्याली रिकंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ लाइफ करता है. उसके ख्याल में लाइफ जिस तरह होनी चाहिए या फॉर्म जिस तरह लाइफ को देखना चाहता था, तो उसके ख्याल में जिस तरह वो देखना चाहता था वो इसको रिकंस्ट्रक्ट करता है, दोबारा बताता है. हिस्टोरियंस बात करते हैं हैज बिन की, जो गुजरा है, ये फैक्ट्स हैं. साइंटिस्ट बात करते हैं व्हाट इज की, जो प्रेजेंट है, ये भी फैक्ट्स हैं. आर्टिस्ट बात करता है व्हाट माइट बी, व्हाट ऑट टू बी, व्हाट माइट बी, और ये एक यूनिवर्सलाइज्ड आइडियल है, क्योंकि व्हाट ऑट टू बी और माइट बी जो है फॉर्म मैटर को चेंज करना चाहता है कि ये बेस्ट बने. तो ये बेस्ट कैसे बनेगा, क्योंकि फॉर्म तो सक्सेसफुल नहीं है, लिहाजा फॉर्म अगर सक्सेसफुल होता तो कैसे होता, ये आर्टिस्ट ये करता है. और जब ये करता है तो ये तो आइडियल है और ये एक यूनिवर्सल आइडियल है, बल्कि ये तो इमिटेशन भी नहीं हुई, ये तो क्रिएशन हुई. सो आर्टिस्ट इज ए काइंड ऑफ क्रिएटर. तो इसकी जो क्रिएशन है ये हाई सीरियसनेस और ट्रूथ रखता है, क्योंकि ये तो यूनिवर्सलाइज्ड आइडियल है. ये तो वो चीज है जो मैटर, जो फॉर्म भी नहीं कर सका है और पोएट ने इसको कर दिखाया है, तो ये तो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हुआ.